Hey everybody, this is Ryan Egley with Boulder Spirits. Today we're at 7 Grand in Denver, Colorado. We've got Luke from Daveco over here, and we're going to talk about the single barrel picks that they've got going on up at the store. Luke, what do you do over at Daveco?
I'm the spirit specialist, so I'm the whiskey guy.
Excellent. So if you're rummaging through the aisle, this is the guy that you want to bug about it. You guys, this last month, were able to get on your shelf two amazing whiskeys from us. One of them is a Boulder Bond bourbon, which is actually the only single barrel of Boulder Bond bourbon that we sold last year, as well as a peated malt that you chose to pick at cask strength. Tell us a little bit about the bourbon, why you kind of went with that, and what your whiskey consumers are looking for at Daveco.
Yeah, well, I'm a big Boulder Bond guy, so it's cool that you guys had one available for us.
Yeah, I guess there's probably not a lot of Colorado Boulder Bond barrels available.
Yeah, like Laws does a good job, but
yeah, of course,
you're not going to grab one of those. So it was a cool opportunity, and just kind of a geek when it comes to Boulder Bond stuff. Back, like everyone knows E.H. Taylor. He's the guy back in the day that kind of kicked the whole thing off. So
absolutely,
it's kind of a nice homage to that with the local flair. And
well, thank you. It's I mean, it was very important for us to put out a Bottle and Bond series, really to kind of establish that that level of quality that is associated with Bottle and Bond whiskeys, as well as it's important for us to touch on the history of American whiskey. So,
sure.
So thank you for recognizing that, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about this whiskey? What'd you get on the nose? I already know what I get. I work for the company. I want to know what you get.
I get a little bit of like green apple on the nose, maybe some. I mean, it dissipates quickly and it's just nice oak on the nose, but maybe a little apricot.
Sure.
It's kind of like these.
I always apple is always heavy across our bourbon for sure. I always tend to get just a little bit of like dust.
Yeah.
Almost like kind of barn dust or plywood dust or something like that. There's a little bit of that almost toasted oak kind of note that you really get right on the nose.
For sure. And is that something that comes through specifically more with bonded stuff, since you're not marrying a bunch of different whiskeys into it?
I think it's that for us. I think it's a flavor profile that comes from our mash bill.
Okay.
Our mash bill is 51% corn, so the lowest, the minimum amount of corn you're allowed to have in a bourbon.
Right.
And then it's not a high rye, so it's a high malted barley. So it's 44% malted barley. That much malt will, and of course 5% rye. But that much malt will really yield a bit more texture, a bit more softer, grassy notes, which kind of lead for me kind of towards that softer, kind of dusty, kind of oatmeal dust kind of note. All right, where are you at on the first sip of this thing? I've had plenty of this stuff, not necessarily the single barrel, but it does fit within our flavor profile of our batch Bottle and Bond bourbon, but it's certainly, I already know from the nose that it's going to be just a bit more fruit forward. But I want to hear what you think on your first taste.
Definitely some of that peachy apricot fruit coming through, but I also get like some chocolate notes too. I don't know if that's just me.
I do. It's almost like a chocolate covered dried fruit kind of candy, like maybe a trail mix.
Yeah,
kind of an idea
for sure.
Yeah, it's really got. For me, that's I love that the kind of buttery quality that our whiskey at 2 and 3 years old just doesn't have the texture that comes together once you hit that 4, 5, and 6 year on up age statement. So I'm really liking the kind of oils that develop on this one as far as the texture goes. But yeah, it's got this lovely candied nose that kind of complements as you drink it.
Yeah.
And that finish, where you got on the finish?
I get a little bit of toffee on the finish.
Yeah.
Which lends to that buttery nut you were talking about.
Yeah, I kind of get that Heath bar kind of finish.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, great selection. That That is awesome. Our batch bourbon, our batch bottled and bond bourbon is great. This is pretty exceptional, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Appreciate the opportunity. It's good stuff.
Indeed. Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink. All right, Luke. Let's talk about this peated malt whiskey selection of yours. I remember when we were first tasting these barrels, they were coming in pretty warm, about 135 up to 142 proof, and you went with a pretty big barrel and asked for it at cask strength, but we still had a little bit of water, brought it down to 120 proof. Tell me about shopping for peated malt whiskeys and for kind of what your take on peated malt whiskey is.
Right. So it's a unique opportunity, obviously, for us to be able to get a barrel of anything peated. It's not really feasible in Scotland. So the fact that you guys are doing a peated malt variant is awesome. I'm personally a big peat guy. It can be a little intimidating for bourbon guys to kind of cross over a little bit, but just the kiss of smoke that we get, especially here, is a nice little intro into the category as a whole, I think. So.
Yeah. This is, in terms of peat, our peated malt whiskey is really low. Mm-hmm. It's just a piece of the whiskey, not the dominating factor of the whiskey. So I'm glad that you say that it's kind of that gateway to,
for sure,
from the bourbon drinker. Now this stuff came in at 120 proof. On the nose, I just get tons of grasses, just kind of that lovely tall, wet grass.
Yeah.
But there's a certain sweetness I can't really place my nose on. What are you getting over there?
Definitely grass, moss, kind of.
Moss, yeah.
Taking a walk in a damp forest.
Yeah. Love that. All right, 120 proof. Let's see what this stuff tastes like straight at it. $120, that's a lot. That's 60% ABV. How approachable is it right on the first? Whiskey is still, it's got some lovely stuff. So a little bit of that really green tea notes, honeyed green tea notes.
Mm-hmm. The nose blows up when you add a little bit of water. Yeah.
Let's see what happens on the palate when we kind of get into this a little bit.
Outside of the tongue with grass notes for
regarding the price of this whiskey, what's this one sitting on your shelf? Rich, very viscous.
Runs right at $70, $69. Even at 120, it's not. There's no burn. Cask strength peated malt dissipates into like a citrus vibe.
Sure, yeah, a bit of that. Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of orange essence noted to this. Yeah, a little bit of water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Never afraid to add water to your whiskey. It's your whiskey.
Yeah.
You can drink it however you like. Kind of orange orchard kind of notes to it. Still has that lovely grass effect.
For sure.
Man, good pick, sir.
Appreciate it.
And then for the bottled and bond bourbon, what's that going to be on your shelf at?
$53.99.
Awesome. Well, Luke, thanks so much. Thanks for tasting these whiskeys with us. I'm sure I'll see you at the shop. Guys, go get some of these whiskeys from Daveco.
Cheers.